What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Clippers are absolutely cooked. It was announced earlier today that Kawhi Leonard stepped down from Team USA basketball. Derek White is taking his place, and it looks like it's because of Kawhi Leonard's knees. It looks like his knees are shot and gone, but let's dive into it. Here you go. So 2024 USA Basketball Men's National Team update on Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi has been ramping up for the Olympics over the past several weeks and had a few strong practices in Las Vegas. He felt ready to compete, however, he respects that USA Basketball and the Clippers determine it's in his best interest to spend the remainder of the summer preparing for the upcoming season rather than participating in Olympic Games in Paris. So basically, he's not healthy enough to play in Team USA. And to further this, Team USA had concerns about Kawhi Leonard's knees per B.A. Turner. B.A. Turner, people not authorized to speak publicly on the matter, told the Times last week that there was concerns about Leonard's knee after Grant Hill, the managing director of Team USA, Steve Kerr, the coach of Team USA, and Lawrence Frank, the Clippers president of basketball operations, watched him work out at the Clippers practice facility recently. The Clippers are cooked. So Kawhi Leonard has had a big issue staying healthy. It's been a problem the last few years, particularly come playoff time. Now, he did play a bunch of regular season games last year, and it was actually pretty surprising. But when it mattered most, guess what? Where was he? He was out with injury. Kawhi Leonard is a guy that is not willing to play through injury. This is a guy that knees are deteriorating. This isn't good for the Clippers. I mean, look, losing Paul George is already making them worse. I know that they went and added some nice pieces, and I actually liked some of the moves that they made this offseason, but you're not replacing Paul George with those guys. And the Clippers' best chance of winning anything was Paul George. The Clippers' biggest problem, though, is they paid Kawhi all that money for a new contract when you should have waited. It made no sense. And on top of that, not only did you give Kawhi Leonard all that money, but then you decided not to pay Paul George. Pick a lane. Either A, you're fine being mediocre and being a middle of the pack team and staffing the new stadium that you just built with a bunch of star power and James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George, and maybe you have a puncher's chance of making it to the finals or winning a championship, right? Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden, that's a good trio. They got good depth. They had good roster. They had a good talent. They looked like the best team in the league for stretches of the season. So maybe you get into the playoffs. Maybe guys get healthy. Your best chance of staying healthy is probably between the three of them because you can kind of take your time bringing back Kawhi if he misses some time and Paul George or whatever because you have the three of them. But now you lost Paul George for nothing. You traded Paul George you traded for Paul George, gave up arguably a top 5 player in the league right now, along with a bunch of draft picks, and the only thing you had to show for it is you made the conference finals once. One time you made the conference finals. It was foolish giving Kawhi the second contract several years ago, and then you're bringing him up again, and now you're stuck. Who's trading for Kawhi Leonard and giving you real assets and taking on all that money when the guy can't play? The guy's knees are gone. Deteriorating. And the healthiest guy out of the two of them was Paul George, and he's not a model of health. And yet you decided to choose Kawhi Leonard over Paul George when the guy can't play. The guy can't even play in Team USA on a stacked team where he's probably only going to play 5 minutes a game. It's crazy. The Clippers, they're cooked. Right? They're going to end up paying all this money for no reason. Again, you got a new stadium. You might as well have went and packed it with as many stars as possible. Right? Because you're not winning anything. And now, how many people are going to want to show up when Kawhi Leonard misses a majority of the season? Right? You're going to get the new stadium bump, right? You always get, the Clippers could be the worst team in the league and they'd still get the new stadium bump where people are they're not really curious about the team. They're just curious about what does the stadium look like? People are excited to go check it out for the first time. So you're going to get that bump regardless. But eventually that's going to fade away. And eventually people aren't going to care. And Kawhi Leonard is already looking shot. And look, when he's on the court, he's incredible. There's no doubt about it. When Kawhi Leonard is healthy and he's playing, he's still one of the best players in the league. But that's the problem. The best ability is availability. And you gave up your only other star that has been available for you. Again, not great, but, still more than Kawhi's been. And it's just, I like, what is the answer for the Clippers? You're stuck. You're stuck, and you're paying out all this money for nothing. Kawhi Leonard Kawhi might have to medically retire by the time that contract's up at the rate he's going. And it's like, you did all this for what? Again, you might as well have picked the lane. This is why I said it was so silly that the Clippers didn't keep Paul George. He was your best chance. He was your best opportunity. Right? And at least get something for him. At least, like, they should have blown this up a year or two ago. Instead of going and trading for James Harden, they should have been looking to trade Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and putting themselves in better position. Right? And start putting themselves in. But you have no future because you don't have control over any of your picks. You don't have enough talent now, star-wise, to go and compete because Kawhi Leonard's only going to play 30 games. You can't rely on him come playoffs because he doesn't play the playoffs anymore because he can't stay healthy. You have James Harden who completely disappears at times. Regular season, he might be enough to keep you afloat, but more likely than not, he's going to be irrelevant, right? Like, he's not the same James Harden, not Houston James Harden, right? Like, what do the Clippers do? Like, I don't see a scenario where the Clippers are in good shape. I think that they've just went about this and handled this every worst way possible. And it's gonna be funny now. Paul George, Kawhi over me, pull the Jimmy Butler. Like, again, like, okay, if you wanted to bring back Kawhi and run it back, then you should have brought back Kawhi and ran it back. You should have re-signed Paul George and you should have kept it intact. It made no sense to re-sign Kawhi Leonard and then lose Paul George. None. It made zero sense. You either were better off just letting everyone walk, letting James Harden walk, letting Kawhi walk, letting Paul George walk, and, maybe you kind of revamped, or re-signing everybody, which was probably the only, I guess you could say is the best option because, again, at least it gives you a puncher's chance. You stack the seats for the new stadium, got the star power. Again, they did look like one of, if not the best teams in the league for stretches during the season. Now, you got nothing. And you're not in a position to take. You're not in a position to unload anything. You're not going to get the farm for Kawhi. You should have traded him. Literally, you should have traded him 2 years ago. Same thing with Paul George. But they wanted to keep it. They're going to do it. And now you got nothing to show for it. You weren't winning. The best season you had was where you went to the conference finals, which was the first time in franchise history. So, I mean, that's something. But that's not really an accomplishment. I mean, the Lakers had their worst season ever. Big Brother had literally their worst season ever. Started 2-10. Had a 0.02% chance of just making the playoffs. Not even the conference finals, just the playoffs. And the Lakers' worst season in their history. They finished just as good as the Clippers did in their best season ever. And you had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And you've had all this talent influx just coming in and out. They're cooked. The Clippers aren't winning anything. They're not going anywhere. Kawhi Leonard might not even be able to finish out his contract at this point. It's an absolute mess. Absolute mess. But now, hey, that's the Clippers for you, right? Clippers are going to clip, right? They're going to make the wrong decisions. It's what they've done. Bad teams are bad teams for a reason. Clippers still a bad team. So, anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think Kawhi Leonard? Yeah, he's cooked. His knees are shot. He's done. Clippers are done. This isn't a good look, right? No matter what, this isn't a good look for the Clippers. And you just read like the official statement from the Olympics or Team USA and then the news about the Clippers and, it's best for him to focus on the regular season. So what you're telling me is you're not healthy enough to play Team USA basketball. This is a guy that hasn't been a model of health the last few years. And just, again, it's knee issues. But do you think that they're cooked? Do you think look, Clippers will be fine. They still got Kawhi Leonard. They still got James Harden. They still got a nice roster. If depending on how many games Kawhi plays, they're probably still a playoff team. But they're not winning anything. They're probably going to be a first, if at best, second round exit, which is what they've been their entire franchise at best. I mean, literally the last 10 plus years, 15 years probably at this point, every year it's the Clippers are this, the Clippers are that, dating back to Lob City. And every year, Clippers first, second round exit. So, I mean, best case, you get to the first, second round, right? At least keep up tradition. But anyway, again, I feel whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.